I still remember the silence in the boardroom, the kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. It wasn't the silence of shock or contemplation. It was the silence of guilt. I stood there, across from 5 men in suits, holding a printed audit report in my hands, pages filled with highlighted inconsistencies, flagged numbers, and summaries I had personally reviewed. "These quarterly earnings are inflated," I said calmly. "If this report is released, it misleads shareholders and violates multiple disclosure norms." The CFO, a man who had mentored me when I joined the company 5 years earlier, didn't say a word. He just tapped his pen against his notepad, then leaned forward. "Karen, we appreciate your diligence, but let's not jump to conclusions." "These aren't conclusions," I replied. "They're facts. The margin was adjusted by over 2.4% in the last 3 reports. That's not an error. That's systemic." And with that, I crossed a line I couldn't uncross. That night, I got a call from HR. The next morning, I was fired. They said it was a performance-based separation. No mention of the report, no mention of my spotless record. Just a vague threat. "Don't discuss this with anyone." They painted me as paranoid, unstable. I lost colleagues, friends, mentors, people I had once shared late nights and lunch breaks with. My reputation in the industry? Gone. For the next 3 months, I applied to every job I could find. I tailored resumes, wrote heartfelt cover letters, even offered to work for free just to get back in the game. Nothing. One recruiter finally told me the truth. "You're flagged, Karen. Word is you accused your former employer of fraud. No one wants a whistleblower." It felt like the world had closed in on me. The same honesty I had taken pride in became the very reason I was being cast aside, so I freelanced. At first, it was miserable. Building dashboards for neighborhood businesses, fixing Excel spreadsheets for accountants who barely knew how to email. But slowly, something happened. One of my clients, a small logistics startup, was so impressed with a tool I built for their invoicing that they referred me to another, then another. I started branding myself not just as a data guy, but as someone who helped companies understand their finances, plan better, and avoid the exact kind of mess my old firm had landed in. By year 1, I had 12 clients. By year 2, I had a team of 3 and a brand, ClearPath Metrics. Our motto? Clarity, integrity, strategy. It wasn't just branding. It was personal. By year 3, we had contracts with 2 large retail chains, an in-house developed analytics platform, and were close to closing our first $1 million in revenue. Then I got a LinkedIn message from a former coworker. "Heard Brightway Capital is tanking. Guess they should have listened to you." Brightway, my old company. I started digging. Turns out the same inflated reports I'd flagged were eventually discovered, just 3 quarters too late. A regulatory body opened an investigation. The CFO resigned. The board fired half the leadership team. Stock plummeted. They were looking for a buyer. I stared at the screen for a long time. The same company that threw me out for telling the truth, now desperate, drowning, and I had the capital. I had the clients. I had the team. I called my lawyer. We made a quiet offer through a third-party holding firm. The company was worth 1/10 of its former value. Most investors just wanted to cut their losses. After weeks of negotiation, ClearPath officially acquired Brightway Capital. I walked through the glass doors of the office where I was once escorted out. This time, the reception staff greeted me with coffee and the title, Managing Director. Most of the old leadership was gone, but one remained, Mr. Kapoor, the former CFO. He didn't recognize me at first. Then he saw the nameplate on the office, Karan Mehta. His lips parted slightly. No greeting. No apology. I looked at him and said, "You may gather your things. Your services are no longer required." Part 5. Redemption. We restructured Brightway under ClearPath's operational model. I brought in my team, kept the ethical employees, and let go of the rest. Clients returned. Reputation rebuilt. For the first time in years, the numbers in the quarterly reports reflected real progress. 3 months after the takeover, we held a town hall meeting. I stood on the same stage where they once dismissed me. This company failed because truth became optional. That ends now. We rebuild with integrity, or we don't rebuild at all. The employees applauded. Some even stood. Part 6. Closure a year. Later, Brightway Now under ClearPath was thriving. We had doubled our client base, expanded to international markets, and been featured in a major business magazine. The same people who once blacklisted me now invited me to keynote conferences. 1. Evening, I got an anonymous email. I'm sorry, you were right, no name, no signature. But I knew who it was. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because my silence was louder than any revenge. My success was justice enough. I didn't just survive. I won. Moral: never regret doing the right thing. The truth may cost you in the short term, but in the long run, it builds an empire no lie can shake.